Won't you listen to reason? Will you open your eyes?
Joan in, is it Friendship?
Friendship, Maine, yeah.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good. I'm a little scared because you guys look pretty pissed off with all the callers you've had.
No. Matter of fact,
I didn't understand.
I'll let David be nice.
I didn't understand the first thing about the first or second callers. I don't know. But anyways, originally I'd asked the guy, the guy who put me on the line, if you were going to the Reason Rally, and then I heard that you had mentioned that Mark Wagner is going.
Martin Wagner, yeah.
Yeah, so that was just an aside. But I also, because I'm going to go to the Reason Rally.
Good.
And I was just curious if you guys were heading down. But I just had more of an observation than anything else. I live, although Maine's not really a huge Christian state, where I live is pretty Christian. And I live in a peninsula on the Gulf of Maine. It's a pretty small town. There's only about 1,200 people here. And I'm also a registered nurse at the hospital. And
awesome.
I work in I just moved to a new unit in the hospital, and it's a very small unit, and everybody is fairly Christian. I have an evangelical Christian there, and I have a Jehovah's Witness. Mm-hmm. And then I also own the only store in town in Friendship, Maine. It's a little grocery store. And so, I know everybody, and I'm hoping they don't listen to this show because they're going to know who I am. But
well, no. You should be hoping that they all listen to this show.
Well, some of them literally will never come in my store again if they knew, that I was even going to this rally.
Oh, wow. Well, in that case, I hope they don't know.
But I just got to make this observation, and I know you've probably heard it before, but the people that I work with in this new unit in the hospital, they are some of the meanest people I have ever met in my life. They are incredibly backstabbing. The other day I just closed a room that I was in and just stayed in there for like 3 hours just so I did not have to interact with anybody else.
Wow.
And then in the town I live in, there's a lot of great people here, but the county I live in is the #1 prescription drug abusing in the whole country. Knox County, Maine is the highest abusing. Wow. We have a huge rate of pregnancy out of wedlock, out of, not married. And I know, Matt, as you were a Christian, I've read that you going to school for seminary. I don't know how these people, how do they justify it? It's like they can do anything, but they can't have an abortion. That would be the absolute worst. But they can be mean, they can be spiteful, they can be take any drug, they can sleep with anybody they want to. But I just don't get it. I'm probably one of the nicest people in this unit, and I'm not saying I think I can say that safely without I'm not trying to say I'm a saint. I'm just saying I'm amazed. I'm just amazed at these Christians who are just mean, and I just don't get it.
Yeah, you're probably better than a saint. I think saints are generally overrated. But
yeah, I didn't mean it. I don't want to come off like that.
I'm being serious.
You know what I mean? I'm not trying to sound like that at all.
But no. I'm being serious. I think saints are overrated. I think you're probably better than a saint. I think everybody in this room is probably better than a saint.
Yeah.
But David wanted to address the meanness and hypocrisy.
Yeah, I think it's really easy to get away with things like that when you basically look at life as a practice run. When you think that this is just a very 60, 70, 80, 90 year stint amongst billions of years in eternity, this isn't really that big of a deal to a lot of theists, and I think that's part of the problem. And whenever you come across an atheist, and we've got the understanding that this is all we have, and mankind is everything to one another. This is all we have is to be here for each other. I think that we take it a lot more seriously to help one another and be respectful to one another.
I think there's a bit more as well. Were you going to?
No, go ahead.
I think part of this is that you've got different types of Christianity, and when you've got Catholicism, which will let you go and apologize for damn near anything to somebody who wasn't harmed by what you did, and then you've got this idea that hey, I'm not perfect, I'm just forgiven, which is prevalent
Right.
in Protestant churches especially. And what it does is it breeds a culture where it's okay to not take personal responsibility for your actions. You can apologize to God for, back-talking Betty Sue down the block, or you can go out and do all the things that you personally feel are wrong. This is most definitely wrong for me to go out and get drunk and have affairs and things like that, but I can apologize to God, and it wipes the slate clean. It's a perversion of morality. The religions tend to poison people's moral compasses, and while emboldening them to think that they actually have a better moral compass. It's one of the most perverse things I've ever seen, because what ends up happening is you either get the holier-than-thou people who are holy crap self-righteous while being terrible, despicable people with regard to interacting with other people, or you end up with people who are just like everybody else but constantly plagued with guilt over the normal things, like, I don't know, having a sexual attraction to somebody of the same sex. And you have this third collection that alternates between guilt and thinking they're superior while running around doing whatever the hell they want, and they only have to apologize to this God guy rather than the people they've wronged. It kills personal responsibility. It doesn't seem to kill personal pride and accomplishment. I don't know that we can kill that off at all. But I think it's, we talk about, there are families that raise their kids in a nice biblical home and hand them the quote-unquote good book. Nothing good about it. And they're breeding another generation of people who will, at a minimum, be duplicitous. At a minimum, be, happy and generous and other things in this area, and then sneaking off to do things elsewhere, knowing that they can just apologize, but not to the people that they've actually wronged. It's a terrible thing.
Right, and the comment you mentioned about, if people found out you were going to the rally or found out you were atheist, that they wouldn't even come into your store. I think that's a lot of the reason we do what we do.
Yeah.
It's really easy, to be a bully to a person when you think they're one in a group of a million. But when you start to realize there are more and more atheists out there and we're going to speak up, I think that should slow things down. As far as you talking about handing them the good book, that's been a big problem. And as a matter of fact, on Dogma Debate a couple of episodes ago, I did Atheist Bible Study. We went through and pulled out all the things your pastor doesn't want you to know about the Bible. And so you may want to go listen to that. And
yeah, I love when atheists teach the Bible. I've offered to do it many times.
It's fun.
Yeah. So I guess they don't think. I just didn't know how they got around that they weren't going to hell too. Because
right,
they're forgiven.
Maybe not for being mean. Maybe I don't know the Bible as well as you guys do at all. I've tried to read as much as I can. I was a Catholic, and Catholics are encouraged not to read the Bible, so I don't really know much about it. But I tried to. But I just figured premarital sex would be you're going to hell, and but maybe not. Maybe I guess.
Well, not believing is way worse than all that stuff.
And it's one thing that Catholics are encouraged not to read the Bible, but it's still better than Protestants who are encouraged to not read anything else.
Yeah, that's true.
Everything you need to know is right in there.
Yep.
I'm sure there's financial planning.
I love you guys. I love your show, and I so appreciate what you do. And I'll just keep watching.
Thanks, Joan.
Thanks.
And we'll hope your neighbors aren't watching. Have a great time at the rally, and maybe call back and
I can't
let
wait.
us know
If
how
you're
it
ever
went.
in Friendship, Maine, come into the only store in town. We have the best sandwiches around.
Absolutely.
Okay?
All right, thanks, Joan.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.